Today I want to show you how I clean my milking machine. The first thing I do every day when I want to collect milk is that I do a sanitizing rinse. The water for this is reasonably warm because I reuse this water after I'm done milking to do a rinse. All of the detergents that I use, I get from IBA. As you can see, I do have a 2-base sink, but I only use the left side. The right side I'm using basically as a shelf because I don't have any shelving in my milk room. This is my strainer. I sit everything aside in those drying racks. I use this bucket because my strainer doesn't sit down on top of my 15-gallon milk plan tank level, and I'm always afraid it's going to fall off. And so I sit my strainer on top of this bucket and then pour from the bucket into the milk tank. It's just what works for me. To make sure I get all the surfaces, I like to use a cloth and just wipe the inside and the edges off. And then I sit it on the side to let it drip dry. These claws always get water in between the shells and the inflations, and so I always drain them out, and then I take the pulsator off and drain the water out of the pulsator. If you're having problems with your new pulse claw, check to see if you have water in there. So after milking, I was just checking the filter to make sure everything was good. The water in the sink here is still the same water that I use to sanitize. So I use that water to rinse off the strainer and my bucket. I don't like to use the sanitizing water to rinse my claw because I found that I was getting some buildup. And so this is one of the things that I changed. It's generally not recommended to use a foaming soap to pulse through your claw, but this is such a small amount of water that I don't have to worry about it being sucked up into my vacuum pump. This is my vacuum hose, and for lack of a better, more efficient way to rinse it and wash it, I just stick it into one of the inflations and just let it pulse through to clean it. The vacuum hose is a common source of contamination to your milk, and so it's important to keep after cleaning of them, because they can backwash into your pails. This is a CIP unit, a clean in place unit. This one is the one for a new pulse claw. They do make types for more of like a De Laval style, or a style that has the pulsator on the lid. Hot chlorinated wash. And of course, this is my method for washing my vacuum hose. Let me also explain, this is my daily washing method. Once a week, I will break it down more and use brushes. This system is great, but it's not as effective, perhaps, as breaking it down all the time and cleaning it. And so you still do need to do that every once in a while. I would say weekly. Once again, just wiping it off, getting parts that maybe didn't get cleaned with the CIP. And then at this point, I will clean the strainer off. And I also clean off the bucket. I would say it's important to always clean in an order that makes sense. Like cleaning the things that aren't necessarily so dirty, and then cleaning the things that are the dirtiest. Like a progression that goes from what isn't touching the cow to what does touch the cow. And that brown cloth I only use to clean the outsides and the bottoms of my pail and my bucket. Once again, kind of rinsing out the sink, getting all of that water out of there. Now, if you are using a chlorinated detergent, it's important for you to rinse your claw before you do your acid wash. Otherwise, you will get a buildup. So at this point, I add the acid. just rinsing off the strainer and rinsing off the bucket. At this point, the inside of the claw is clean. And now I'm just rinsing. I'll just rinse everything for the final process. Hey, are you finding this video helpful? If you are, can you please give me a thumbs up and leave a comment below? If you like this kind of content, give us a subscribe and check out our other videos. Once again, emptying the water out of between the shells and the inflations and the pulsator. And then I'm using this brown cloth to clean the outside of the pail. I kind of cover, you can't really see what I'm doing. But at this point, no more of the water is going inside the pail. I'm just simply cleaning off the bottom and the sides. All clean. And then I hang it up to dry. Thanks for stopping by. I hope this video helps you. Be sure to check out some of our other how-to videos. I'll see you next time.